Welcome to Responsibility Advocates. Today we are sitting down with the runoff candidates for the 2015 St. Bernard Parish race. And today I would like to introduce Richie Lewis, and thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Today we wanted to sit down, and we've been having a conversation with all of you, and we wanted to give each one of you an opportunity to just kind of share from your own words and your heart, and allow St. Bernard Parish and the citizens here to understand you and maybe get to know you a little bit better. So we wanted to ask you a few questions and just take your time and give us, what's the things that are on your heart and on your mind. And so the first thing that I wanted to ask before we do anything is what is it that you're running for? And then to follow up with that is, why are you running for this position?
Okay, I'm running for Councilman at Large West. And the reason I'm running for this position is 4 years ago I decided to run for council as a business owner, frustrated with the bureaucracy of how St. Bernard did business with businesses, if that makes sense. And after being elected for Councilman District C, I saw the need throughout the last 4 years, I saw the need, like many other people saw the need, for some leadership. I think St. Bernard's struggling for leadership in key positions. And going into this election, more than ever, the council's going to need leadership. I have been in business my entire life, since the age of 17 years old. Made it through Katrina, right, unscathed a little bit. And I know that I have the traits and the qualities that it takes to lead people. And leading people is being able to bring a bunch of different personalities together to work for a common goal. So that's something that we need on the council, especially. We're going to have almost a new council, right? Almost a totally new council. So understanding the budget it's not something you just, you can understand budgets, right? I have a budget at my business. I'm the king of that budget, right? With one stroke of the pen, I change tomorrow. Government doesn't work that way. When you're producing and overseeing a budget that someone else is administrating, it's a totally different way of handling a budget. So it took me some time to learn it. I went in thinking I was going to know it, and I was wrong. So I didn't know it. I had to learn it, and I went through that process. It was a lot of long nights, and a lot of headaches, but I got through it. And I think that we're going to need someone on the council that has a very intimate knowledge of that budget. So that's why I decided to run for at-large.
Fantastic. Well, on that then, tell us, what separates you from your opponent then? My
opponent has been councilman for District A for 8 years. And what separates me, for one, is my leadership abilities, my leadership experience, my business experience, and my government experience. I was on the planning commission for 5 years before I ran for council, which gives me 9 total years going into this seat. I've had to work with, at one point, having over 200 employees pre-Katrina to now having 60. And being in business, makes a difference when you're on the council. Knowing and understand how local commerce works and drive an economy, it makes a difference when you're sitting on the council.
Sure. Fantastic. Well, you've mentioned leadership several times. And so one of the things that we talk about with Responsibility Advocates a lot is leadership. And so one of the things that we're looking at for the future is being able to come back and have a conversation with all of the candidates a year later. And from a leadership perspective, being able to ask our elected officials, and we want to come back a year from now and maybe ask the question right now, what is it that we would be able to hold you or look at and say, what are you personally responsible for? And what can we come back a year from now and say, this is what you said, and we want to look at and grade you on how you've done?
Okay. So what are my plans to accomplish in the next year, I'm guessing is the question, right?
Well, maybe we should have said, what would be your personal responsibility towards the citizens of St. Bernard?
The personal responsibility of myself and every other councilman sitting on that dais is financial responsibility and making sure that the taxpayer dollars is not misused and misappropriated. That's the #1 job of the council. A lot of people don't understand council president and who has the power to do what, and can we change the day of Halloween, right?
Sure.
That's the big topic today. So, excuse me. I plan on delivering financial responsibility to the citizens of St. Bernard Parish. And I also plan on, there's some capital improvements that I got my eyes on, and I don't know if I could get them done within a year. I don't want to promise that they'll be done in a year, but I'd like to see all our street lights go LED. I got some stuff that needs to be done around the parish, but more importantly is financial responsibility.
All right, so fiscal responsibility, that's what we can ask you about.
Yes.
Fantastic. Well, to change gears a little bit and to go on a different topic, we've talked about leadership, we talked about finances, now we can move into a different area. There's been a lot of things that have been happening around the country, a lot of things in the news, a lot of things that have kind of come down even to local where we are. And so I wanted to ask, in your opinion, what do you think the racial temperature is in our community?
I believe that the leaders of the community are going to have to ultimately get together. The racial temperature in St. Bernard Parish, as I don't think it's a high temperature, right? I do think it's a temperature. I think it's there. And it's something that's uncomfortable to talk about from both sides of the coin. But I do think that the leaders in our community, the black community, the white community, and I like to just say our community, I don't like to separate it, right? Are going to have to sit down and have this discussion. And we're going to have to talk about what's on everybody's mind and how do we get past it. I think that the temperature in St. Bernard Parish is relatively low compared to the rest of the country. I mean, the rest of the country, there's spots where it's enormously high, right? And the thing that separates St. Bernard from those areas is St. Bernard's always been kind of a small community, and we all grew up together. And you know, going back to when I was a kid, I didn't feel any racial temperature. I mean, I went to school with everybody. It didn't matter who you were, where you came from. We all played on the same playground. And I think the kids and the people in St. Bernard get that. Now, I do think there's some temperature that has brewed up, but I think that if the leaders got together and sat down and came together with something to move through that, I think it's possible.
Well, you said that some things have happened that have made things brew up a little bit. Based on that, there was an incident that took place about a street naming. And I don't want you to comment about the vote or anything like that, but just from your opinion, do you think that actually exposed some of the racial tension, or do you think that kind of created some of the racial tension?
Okay. Well, I don't have a problem talking about anything you want to talk about in regards to that issue, just so you know.
Sure.
I think that it did a little bit of both.
Okay.
Okay. I think that with people are generally quiet in their own little world, right? And they tend to their own family, and the rat race is something that we all go through in life because we have families and we got to put food on the table. So we don't look outside of our circle too much. And I'm talking about a family circle, not a community circle. And I think for those people, it may have created some racial tension. And I think for others, it may have exposed, but I don't think it's on a high level. I mean, I don't think that the renaming of the street, I think a lot of people got that there's a lot bigger problems in the world and in the parish to deal with. And as a lot of people showed up to those meetings and a lot of people voiced their opinions, and look, most all the opinions were valid, both sides, right? So I think that, you know, again, that's something as the community leaders would get together and talk about is something we would have to work through to keep all of the people at bay and keep everybody to where we get along, because the truth is we have to live in this community. We have to get along.
Right. And that's tough. And being a leader, you have to make tough decisions, right? And we've talked about leadership and personal decisions, from decisions like the street to fiscal responsibility. And so based on that, let me ask you a different question. What is your moral compass then? What helps you make these decisions, choosing what you believe is right or wrong?
Well, I grew up in a pretty nice-sized family, went to church every Sunday, right? If you didn't go to church, your mom was mad at you when I was a kid, right? So what makes up my moral compass is compassion for people and doing what's right by people. Not always what's right by me, but what's right for our community, because it's not always one and the same. Right. And making sure that the people in St. Bernard Parish have what they need to have, and that voices are heard, and that results are given. And then more importantly than all of that is explanation at the end, right? Because we do make some tough decisions. And this was one of the toughest in the 4 years, because when I sat up there and looked at that room, I knew almost everybody in the room, right? On both sides of the issue. And it was one of the toughest decisions that I had to make because it affects people's feelings. And when you talk about people and feelings, we all have different opinions and we all have different feelings about different things. So what makes up my moral compass is really people, okay. You know, and compassion, being compassionate towards people.
Okay. So tough decisions. Another tough decision that has been going around and being talked about is maybe this is an opportunity to set the record straight and just kind of share your opinion as well. Is there's been talk about an overlay in this side of the parish from Araby, and so there's a lot of questions about that. A lot of people have feelings and emotions about that, and obviously we want to be compassionate, and your moral compass is based on people, and so this is another tough one. Can you give us your thoughts and feelings about the overlay, positive, negative, or what you think about it?
I think the overlay has some positive and negative facts in it. Basically, all I've heard from, and I've been to several meetings regarding the overlay, is the people that were in the room supported it. Now, I don't know if that means everyone supports it. I didn't go down the streets and take a poll myself, right? So I don't know if everyone supports it. I do see, now, understand that I own a business that's going to be in this overlay, so I want to put that out there. I don't want there to be any hidden agendas here, right?
Sure.
You need to know that I own a business that's in the overlay. And I sit next to a building that's been blighted since Katrina, right? That we've all tried to get businesses to open there, to invest there, and we've been unsuccessful. So I don't know if putting more restrictions on an area is going to help it grow, right? Some experts say it will, some experts say it won't. So again, I got to try to make my own decision. The riverfront overlay, because it's two different overlays. This is really a big, complicated deal. It's two different overlays with two different sets of rules, and there's no one size fits all.
Sure.
So there's going to be folks that are going to be upset at the overlay because Old Araby on the river has always been industrial, right? So you have people that purchase property there under the thought process that they can use it in an industrial use, and now you're coming back and telling them you can't. And I'm not sure by law if that's taking, because a taking is described as devaluing someone's property. And that's something I think that we're still researching. I know me and my opponent have spoken in detail, and we agree on a lot of the things that go with the overlay. I'm not sure if we're ready to pass that overlay. I'm not sure if we're ready to put that into effect, and I'm not sure that we even understand how it's going to affect the area. It may have a great positive effect, and it may have a great negative effect, and I just don't think enough research has been done to have that answer.
So you're still collecting.
Still collecting, and for myself.
Sure.
Right, still collecting data.
So you're neutral, as we.
Yes, I'm neutral. I'm open to listen.
Okay.
And I'm open to listen to other people talk that may know more than I know.
Sure.
About it.
Fantastic. All right, because that would affect obviously the parish, and it could be in a positive way, and it could be in a negative way, and depending on what your vision is for the parish,
Well, we talking about one small little corridor, right?
Sure.
At this time, But if that goes, if it goes well, I'm sure it would run its course through the parish. So that's when you would really start having some controversy and having some
great question.
More opinions.
And that leads us to this, that affects A, right? But it could obviously trickle down to the rest of the parish. And now you are running for at-large position, which affects the whole parish. And so what do you see maybe your vision being for the entire parish?
Man, that's a huge question. What's my vision for the entire parish if I was like the emperor of St. Bernard Parish? I mean, I don't know.
If you had a vision of what can make this place better, or what is Richie, how does Richie want to make this place better?
Well, I think St. Bernard Parish, and I've been saying this for 4 years, we got to know exactly our position on the map, okay? Because it makes a big difference into what's realistic, sure. Right? We can all say we want Target and Sam's and Best Buys and all of these things, but what's realistic?
Absolutely.
Realistically, that's not going to happen. St. Bernard Parish has been a bedroom community to New Orleans since it was created, right? And we had a good solid tax base before the storm because we had so many residents here. Everybody, you watch the traffic go to New Orleans in the morning, you watched it come home in the morning, right? Since I was born.
Right.
And that's still pretty much the temperature today. And I think we need to know that. I think we need to not worry, trying to pull industrial businesses into St. Bernard. We're not demographically located for that. The Harahan and Slidell, which is right there, you can get to Mandeville, Biloxi, New Orleans, you got to be centrally located to be able to build upon those type of things. And I think we need to go back to knowing what we are. Our goal right now needs to be attract residents and attract homeowners and new homes. And we're just starting in the last year to get some new homes in St. Bernard Parish. We had in abundance of Katrina rebuilt homes that people could have bought in St. Bernard Parish. But the truth is, young, emerging professionals do not want a rebuilt 1,300 square foot, 1 bathroom, yellow brick home. Right? That's a 1970s home, and the new age doesn't want that. So we've been pushing to move into new homes, and we're trying to get an inventory of new homes together for young people to buy. And I think that's the first move into directing our parish where it needs to go, because until you get a solid number of populated area, right, it's going to be a lot harder to attract some of those things I mentioned in the beginning. These guys do studies, and for a long time, St. Bernard looked like the fastest growing parish in Louisiana after Katrina hit. And that was just everybody moving home. I'm not sure we were growing. We were trying to get back to where we were. And so I think that we need to know where we're at, and we need to focus and do what we do good, right? My business is donuts, and I can make 200 million different kind of donut combinations. But glazed donut is the most, so let's do that one really, really good, and not worry about doing 200,000 different ones. And I think that's the same position St. Bernard's in. Let's do what we are really, really good, and people will take notice of that.
Fantastic. Well, thanks. This has been great. So this is your one opportunity now to look in the camera and give the voters of St. Bernard, just your last pitch to say, hey, here's why you should vote for me.
Okay. Here's why you should vote for me, St. Bernard. I've been in business my entire life. I know what it takes to bring people together to work for a common goal. I understand and have intimate knowledge of St. Bernard Parish's budget. I'm very involved in the community, donate and spend time with over 50 different nonprofit organizations every single year. I'm totally 100% invested in St. Bernard Parish. My business is here, my family is here. I spend 98% of my time within St. Bernard Parish lines. And this makes a big difference when it's about being available to you. So I'm asking for your support on November 21st, number 84, Richie Lewis, Council at Large West.
Richie, hey, thank you very much.
Thank you guys for having me.
It
was good.
This was great. I appreciate it.